played a crucial role in creating modified democracy in Liberia. Now he has a new mission to wipe corruption out of Liberia. But he faces a tough challenge and is going against traditional politicians. Thus, he's with me now. Welcome, Mr. Gongloe.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be in ELTV, or LNTV they call it now, or LNTV, right? It used to be called ELTV. But I'm happy to be in the studio for the first time.
Yeah, and I'm happy to have this conversation with you. And I just going straight toward the conversation. We have an election in the next few weeks, and you're starting this Rome revolution. Everyone agrees that this country is in a terrible place. We have to fix it. What's your agenda? What's your broad vision for it?
So I have a 10-point agenda for better Liberia that covers rule of law, combating corruption. I have a 12-count prescription for combating corruption. I don't want to who just say I have zero tolerance for corruption, or I don't like corruption. Corruption is public enemy number one. I actually sat down, thought about it as a lawyer, as an advocate, and put a 12-point prescription that begins with transparency. One thing I've said to all aspirants, I say, we talk about collaboration and cooperation. Can we cooperate on solving the problem? In this country, as educated as I am, I don't know the present salary. I don't know the salary of the people in the three branches of government. I don't expect ordinary people to know. So put the salary of the president, the benefit of the president, the asset, total value of the asset of the president, so that people know. And then we talk about creating, providing social services in 4 major areas that I think would be a game changer for the totality of the country. Health services, education, food security, and road maintenance, as well as building more roads.
So,
and then creating employment.
Yeah, so we're going to come to your big agenda for over 62% of the people who will vote on the election day are under 35 years old. What most of the candidates end up talking about is a specific agenda for this demography. Young people face a lot of issues: unemployment, the drug crisis, education reform. As part of your plans for reform, do you have a specific youth agenda?
So, on the 10-point agenda, we have youth empowerment. And it's comprehensive. It covers the academic, which means improving the school system, which includes not having volunteer teachers in the schools. I travel to 327 times. It's a very terrible situation. Most of the schools, government schools, have what they call volunteer teachers. No commitment. They are not prepared to go by the curriculum. They are not supervised by anyone. They are volunteers. Providing, all of the materials they need to teach. First, having trained teachers, paying them well, and giving all of the material they need to teach. Then, accessibility of.
So let's narrow down the issue of teachers. So we want to end the issue of volunteer teachers. You want to train more teachers.
Yes.
That means we have to find extra resources to get improve
But find the resources in the budget. Let me tell you, our problem in Liberia is not lack of money, it's the misallocation of money. Let me give you one example. The president pro tem of the Liberian Senate, I did special research on the salaries of the president pro tem of the Liberian Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Why? Because in their budget they say the salary of the elected official, and then one elected official in the president pro tem's office. The speaker has one, in our office there's one elected official. According to last year's budget, the president pro tem of the Liberian Senate earned $254,000 United States dollars. That is apart from the $30,000 that each of them. So if you add that one, you're talking about $284,000. Now, this is a begging nation. We beg Europe, we beg America. The president pro tem of the United States Senate last year received an annual salary of $193,000. My map says that the president pro tem of the Liberian Senate earned more than $60,000 United States dollars above the salary of the president pro tem of the United States Senate. I then draw a general conclusion that that is the way how our money is spent. Instead of spending it on the people, including the young people, which is the foundation of any society, we need to educate our young people, give them access to education. And by making it free, I want free education from kindergarten to 12th grade.
We already have free education.
At the higher level, the people who have common sense in America and other places, they start from the foundation, where the children go to school, while their parents pay 1 cent. That was here before. When I went to school, my parents didn't pay anything. Yeah, no wire fee paid. It never happened before. I graduated from high school. I took wire in 6th grade. I took it in 9th grade. I took it in 12th grade. I didn't pay 1 cent.
Yeah. But I want to put this
in
context. So your plan for improving teacher quality is to cut back on what public servants earn, not public servants, elected officials,
especially the public,
as well as the current expenditure.
Right.
Okay, great. So aside from investing in teachers,
and then the next thing we want to do is to establish free technical and vocational schools in all of the 15 countries. Today, my travel around the country, I have number one knowledge on the life of people throughout the country. Because when I saw them, motorcycle, that's the main source of earning for the young people. The next thing is gold mining and diamond mining. And they are dying in gold mine and the diamond mine. When I was in Grand Gillette, 5 persons died in one gold mine. And when I got to IT and River says 1 person died in a gold mine. Young people, we need to provide them alternative means of living. And I think if they are mechanics, they are tailors, they are carpenters, they are masons, they can sit right in their own towns and make money. They can also sell their labor on the market. So they don't have the marketable skills that they need to get on the job market.
And that brings
we want to create that for high school dropouts, for high school graduates, to get skills, and government can do that.
I wanted to talk a little more about education reform, but I mean, you bringing in something else I think we should also emphasize is I think the problem we have is not the lack of skills. Lack of skill is an issue, but the less young people graduate from college, these people who already have college education, some with vocational education, still can find jobs. So there are people with skills already that can find jobs. So do you also have a plan for fixing the unemployment crisis?
So here is it. I'm a former labor minister. Employment does not mean you must be employed by people. If you're a mechanic, you can be self-employed. If you're a carpenter, you can be self-employed. If you're a tailor, you can be self-employed. Many of the areas you can be an electrician technician and be self-employed. IT expert and be self-employed. Now, but we need to also create an atmosphere for people to find jobs. That is in my 10-point agenda. We intend to create incentives to make life very attractive for investment. And it cannot be attractive unless you have rule of law. We want police to do its work without interference. It's in the 10-point agenda so that people feel that this country is a country in which safety can be secure. We want an independent judiciary. Then we want to cut down taxes for corporations, companies that will move in the interior. For every 50 miles away from Monrovia, you get a tax reduction. For another 50 miles, so that by the time your company is in Kipamos, you are paying very low tax. But here is it, that investment will create a multiplier effect. You get 500 employees, for example, in Kipamos, they are going to rent from the house owners there, all right? And in fact, and then they are going to pay income tax to government. So the tax you didn't get through corporate tax, you get it through payroll tax for 500. So government tax base increases too. So people get more money, government also gets more money. And that investment, besides paying rent, they are going to buy from the market. The house owners will also buy from the market. Drugstores will move there. Other services will move there. There will be what they call in economics an unending multiplier effect of that type of policy, and that will create jobs.
And the concept around multiplier effects is a really troublesome concept in economics, especially for poor countries like us. What we have, one of our problems is we have a resource availability problem, a $700 million budget. And for us to grow anywhere, we have to essentially increase this, probably double fold. So what you're proposing now is cutting VAT taxes on corporation to invest directly in people. Do you think that's a sustainable solution?
Yeah. I'm an economist too. That's what I've taught at the University of Liberia for 8 years, from 1982 to 1990. It's one of my students. Let me tell you this. So, it's not reducing what, I reduce corporate tax, right? But that tax is expanded in payroll tax, income tax, right? So, let's say the corporate tax, the company are going to pay maybe, let's just take a broad figure, $100,000 a year. And then the company employs 500 persons. And every month they are paying certain amount to government based on their salaries. At the end, you'll find that the taxes, the tax generated from income tax of the employees might be more than the corporate tax. All right. So that's something that we can take a whole hour to discuss.
I mean, the reason why this concept is complicated.
But the multiply effect. So you get your salary, then you pay the house owners that you paying rental for apartment rooms, right? They get income. They're going to pay real estate tax and realty lease tax to government. They are going to purchase the same dollar. They're going to purchase drugs. They're going to pay insurance. They're going to pay for clinical services where they want to go to private clinics. So many businesses will open. Just like how when government improves road in one condition, you see the number of services that come up. That's the multiplier effect for the investment in road construction that then brings different types of businesses that create the quantity of business that government will generate taxes from.
I mean, like you said, we go on and on
and
on, but I mean, I just want to focus on these specific teams.
Economics, but talking about youth empowerment so that we don't lose. So I talk about education, I talk about skill training program, and then decentralization of the economy by this incentive. Of course, along with it, you'll be improving roads, you'll be improving electricity and all of that. But the concept is to decentralize employment opportunities, unlike today, where it is concentrated, which I will tell you also is associated with the crime rate. Because everybody comes to Monrovia as the greener pasture. And when they come here from Kipamos or from Fonjima or somewhere far, some people have never been here the first time they see people well dressed coming from Monrovia. I'm going to Monrovia too. They get here, and then 1 month, 2 months, they're having difficulty. Their friends say, "My man, can I go somewhere so you can feel good, man?" They take them to the ghetto. They get on drug. They forget their problem. Next, they get on drug. They get addicted to drug. Next thing, they are with the same gang to engage in armed robbery, jacking bags in the street. That has made a virtual curfew for Monrovia. In the night, after 9 o'clock, so the night economy in Liberia is gone, which also affects even the income that government generates, because cinemas, the nightclubs, and all these things are not really operating because of the unsafe condition in the street, and caused by the huge number of young people that migrate to the city. If you decentralize employment center, you will slow down rural urban migration, and therefore reduce the crime rate in Monrovia, because there will be alternative opportunities for employment in the areas in the You don't think about youth employment, youth empowerment, I want to go to sports. In Liberia, when I talk about football, volleyball, basketball, and our own Liberian sport, which is now in our country called kickball. But I don't think we should restrict the young people that way. Boxing is a sport. Swimming, running, high jump, low jump, all these things, everything that prepares young people in Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria, America, everywhere to go to the Olympic should also be afforded the young people. Like when I was growing up, There were a lot of sporting activities here. Like people used to come from Tapita where I started school to come participate in running here, track and field, and winning national trophy. All of that had gone down. We used to have Ministry of Youth Sports and Ministry of Labor, Youth and Sports. And they had a department there that was training people in policy. And I think that today we should also expose our young people to every sport that exists anywhere in the world. Maybe not ice hockey because we don't have snow here. But again, entertainment. Where are the theaters here? The ministerial complex. We used to have E.J. Roy here. Government didn't build a place for encouraging performing arts. But when E.J. Roy was open, for example, the young people were doing talent show, they were doing all kinds of drama and different things. We need to promote music, to promote the performing arts. We need to rebuild the culture center and even set up cultural centers all over the country for our people to learn in an organized way how to perpetuate our culture. So these are all aspects that go to youth empowerment.
These are
and
great,
it is in our program.
These are great suggestions. And I think we have to dig deeper a little more into your empowerment, your youth empowerment platform. But right now we'll take a break and we'll be back. Directly, but you know, when I was coming to the studio, I met this young man, Moses. When I was in undergrad, I mean, he was among the top 10 in the class, graduated, and it was so good. Right now, Moses is cutting head along the road, and I had a short conversation with him. He was like, I can't find opportunities. So the story with Moses resonates a lot of young people out all across the country. Great in academics, top of the class, he still can't find opportunities. In your platform, do you have specific proposals?
You know, let me tell you this, you know, because information flow sometimes to ease people's tension. Even in America, in other countries, sometimes people get up to PhD and they can't find jobs in the retreat. When I went to America, I was a lawyer and he hit me hard and people say I was in exile after I had a problem with Cllr for defending journalists and people who were opposing views against government. The first thing I got is, oh, you gotta go to late in, you gotta do this. I said, my lawyer is here, but I'm gonna ask one of my law school graduates who are practicing law in America, you gotta do 16 credit hours in the University of Pennsylvania in order to sit the bar exam. One day I was on a bus from Maryland and I saw this medical doctor who was like Surgeon General or so in Ireland. And he came to America and he said, oh, you have to sit an exam. He said, oh, well, in Ireland, big medical doctor, Americans used to come, we practice together, I come to the country and understand. So what he did, he went to school and learned laying roofing tiles, right? So he learned it for 6 months. He said, we got brought 4 children, I have to take care of them. And then he started, later on, he did it for 2 years, then he established his roofing tile company. He didn't go into medicine again. Sometimes, one of the things in this country is that we don't do counseling. Check the number of young people in the various universities that are doing sociology, or doing criminal justice, or doing even in the business field. Or Minister of Labor, I'm like, why are you bringing all the Indians, the largest number of graduates in our tertiary institution, accountant, bringing in their accountant and you putting up for a job. So we don't look at the economy and see the demand for certain skills to advise the students. So a lot of people just push proportionally going into certain fields and promoting unemployment. All right? How many people go into medical and other fields? So part of it, and again, like you said, people have to survive.
So people have
so
to
people have to
pursue their
survive.
passion. Government have a responsibility to create opportunities
so you,
for people who
you create the atmosphere. You create an atmosphere to have a vibrant private sector. And that's why it begins with rule of law. You know, look, people get it. You cannot take anything away from bad governance. As a lawyer, there are some companies who come and go to certain ministries to pay their correct revenue tax, whatever obligation fees to government, And you want to go straight some people with the red tape. They want you to go on a table. And the European and American company got laws in their country that you cannot engage in foreign corrupt practice, you go back, you go to jail. So if we don't improve governance, so that, because it's not government that is going to create jobs, government will create an atmosphere for people to come in the economy to create the jobs. And that's why I always say, I want to be the president that will create millionaires outside government and millionaires inside government.
So let's
because when we do that, and for example, if I say one of my policies, I've said it openly, I say, I'll issue an executive order. Any minister or head of any agency of government, with the wood that we have in the country, we have 43% of the remaining tropical forest. Instead of creating jobs in the wood industry, you take our taxpayer money to buy foreign-made furniture. I fire you because you are unemploying, our carpenters. We have to give incentives for that area, and we have a comparative advantage to be developed.
Yeah, but I mean, just recently, Cllr reported that last year, Liberia lost 23% of its forest. Liberia holds the largest reserve for the Guinean. The Guinean rainforest, the largest forest reserve in West Africa. And there's this issue with climate. Do you have a position on climate change? And do you think we have a responsibility?
The thing is, we have to have environmentally sensitive engagement with the forest. For example, I'm talking about mechanized farming, but only for secondary forest and for some rice farming, lowland farming, and things like that. The way the shifting cultivation, logging does destroy our forest, but the shifting cultivation where people find that the next year they cut some more forest, the next year they cut the forest, it's happening all over the country. If agriculture ministry and the FDA work together correctly, you can actually make farm one place 2 to 3 years. NCRDP was helping in Nimba before the war, where they were teaching people on how to create local fertilizer, not from the factory, but leaves, manure, different things that they were using to enrich the soil and changing the plants that were, you plant something here, there are some crops that can enrich the soil for other types of crops. All of those things need to be studied, and we have experts that should be engaged to slow down cutting the forest, because the forest is good for oxygen, but it also protects us in towns in Liberia where they have cut the forest. When rainy season comes and storms come, 20, 30 houses get destroyed. Because the forest is a natural windbreaker, so that also, our people didn't know, but I grew up in my town. Now my town gets affected glaze up here, but the people, the forest around the town, they say, oh, that was secret forest. That belief made them not to touch the forest around town. Of course, that what they believed, it was not scientific, but it helped. And then we just say, oh, we are Christian now, we don't believe that in that God.
So 2 things I want to know on this climate change and deforestation. Do you believe in climate change? You have a responsibility to
I strongly believe that.
And do you also plan to end deforestation if you're president of Liberia, or minimize it to the minimum?
We want to plant more forest. Look, many things that we are not doing today happened before. And one of the reasons I want to be president, because I'm one of the older people today who was out there during trouble time and saw some of the good things about governance. Not that trouble was an angel, he has some bad. But, for example, there was law that when you cut one tree, you plant 2 or 3 more. So no company was engaged in logging without engaging reforestation. So we need to engage in reforestation more than deforestation. That is the way
to go forward. And I agree with you. So you say you want to be the first person that will create multiple Liberian millionaires. Right now, young people across the country start small ventures, but they're challenged. Our markets, our economy are controlled by foreigners, and there's very little window for bargaining entrepreneurs, especially young people, to make headways. What is your specific proposals on what you will do to empower local businesses
and
encourage young people to start small ventures?
I've been very open on that. We want to revitalize the agricultural cooperative bank. We have an agrarian economy, and the agriculture and cooperative development bank should give loans to people to make farm and all of that. The housing bank was there, giving loan for housing, but also there was the small business bank, all the people down one side and all of that, and then they gave loan on very low interest rate to create capacity, right? Now we have larger commercial banks that give commercial rates. They with that type of situation, our people will find it difficult to compete with foreign business people who don't have only access to local banks, but also have access to money in their own country that they come from to invest here. We'll do that. And number two, it is government, the biggest purchaser of skills, of services and goods in any country is the government. I have not made secret about that I will treat Liberian business people with preference. It happens everywhere. It happens in Ghana, Nigeria, America. If there's a contract, I'd rather a Liberian construction company gets it and a foreign company gets subcontract. The reverse is happening today, where the Liberian construction company will get subcontract for a foreign company when in fact they are using Liberians to do the work. And I believe we will do that. And we start purchasing, also giving big purchasing contracts to small Liberian businesses. Pretty soon it will be big business. This is their country. And it is not an offense to say Liberians first.
That's a very powerful thing you're saying too. I mean, what a lot of people who watch this interview why should they trust that you can deliver on this? Because this has been at the core of our economic problem.
I believe in track record. Our Liberian people in other tribes can say, if you say you can plant new man, show the old man, right? Let me tell you, I was at labor ministry. I found out that people, a lot of non-Liberians were doing jobs that Liberians could do. I called all the employers together. I said, employ Liberians. That's the way to sustain the peace. All and I say, oh, Liberian young people, the poor can steal, they are lazy. I said, every country has a percentage of poor and lazy, and those who can steal, I call the countries. I said, all right, yeah, I'm not with my team, and I think, you know what, the work permit fee is low. We need to increase it. So we increase the work permit fee from 400 to 1,000 US. I want to convince President Senate. I said, you say in your inauguration, that under your regime, the children will be running to power when they come from Papa Nakam. I said, Papa, that does not come with plastic bag with biscuit inside. The first time they will run, but the second time, third time, they will not run. But for Papa to get something to bring plastic bag, Papa has to be working. So I want to increase the work permit fee to give so that it can deter non-Liberians from taking the job, because if you're an employee, you got 50 employees this year, and they're all foreign employees, and you pay 50,000 this year, next it will eat into your profit. And sure enough, as soon as we did it, so the employee who has 60 employees cut it down to 20, and they gave the rest of the job to Liberians. So a lot of Liberians got a job on them. So I know what Liberianization can bring to Liberians as a benefit.
So, I mean, we don't have a lot of time. We'll talk about it. Like, we'll continue talking about this, but I just wanted to get specific proposal on the issue of drug. And this will be my last question. So, young people are now being ruined by drug abuse.
So, it's in my program as part of the intervention for young people. Let me see, I also have in my program intervention for physically challenged. You know, there's a chief in Nema, they call him Chief Family Tour. He said disability is not inability, and that's true. For example, one of my students that graduated from North Street, the class student Joshua, was doing much better in my class. The first time I taught him criminology, he came and said, "Bro, I'm on scholarship. If I get 79, can you make a deal for me?" I said, "I don't negotiate grade with students." But when I marked Joshua paper, he got 91. So I called and said, "Joshua, you see, you got 91." But I'm saying that look, the young people are frustrated and they take their frustration. So we need to rehabilitate them and also give them skills. But that's the demand side. The reason I talk about rule of law important, we have to attack the supply side. I'm a former solicitor general. I talked to a lot of DEA officers. I said, why you letting drugs come to the country? When I say the drugs don't come through illicitly, they come through Roberts Field, they come through the ports, they come through the authorized gates. We have the capacity when we arrest these drugs and want to take action, we get calls from big people, and you defy them, you lose your job, or you go to jail. So if we have a president that has the political will to stop drugs, we can stop drugs in London. And that I have to.
So stop drugs. When we've been speaking to Tiawan Gongloe, he's running for president of Liberia to end corruption and empower young people. It's been a really great conversation. I'll see you next time. Yeah.